What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another segment of the J&J Talk Show. My name is Justin, and I thank you guys for tuning in with us today as we review another week of the NFL as we prepare you for NFL Week number 5. Hopefully, everyone's having a great weekend so far. Busy weekend, baseball coming up in the this weekend. ALDS begins tonight. And I'm pretty excited. So I don't know if you guys have tuned into the last couple of wild card games here throughout the week, but it's been amazing. You had a great NFL game back on Monday night between the Raiders and the Chargers. That one was surprisingly the turnaround for the Chargers performing well. I thought maybe the momentum that Las Vegas had going into the game was going to be more of a duel, if not on the favor of the Raiders side. But the Chargers were able to get out ahead, get out early, and they were able to maintain the lead to pick up their victory last week. So today's episode will kind of go over a couple of things here going on this weekend. We'll touch base with the NFL, some headlines coming into this weekend as well, and then we'll review the picks so far. So, ALDS for baseball. I don't know if you watched the wild card game, the AL wild card and the NL wild card. I really enjoyed it. I watched both of them. Between listening to them on the radio and watching them on TV, I was more invested in watching the Cardinals and Dodgers game. I watched both of them. First of all, I started listening to both of them. That's how I started out. And then when I got home, I watched both of them. The AL wild card, though, and I don't know, maybe it's just me. Maybe it's how tired I am of seeing the Yankees and Red Sox. Great classic rivalry in the postseason, even throughout the regular season. But to see them in once more, it doesn't matter how the teams change. You see them again. And for me, I'm not that well intrigued. I mean, it was a solid game. It was a good game at best. We've seen everything that the Yankees were dealing with throughout the season come into play on Tuesday night in the wild card game. Over in the National League side, though, last night, it was emphasized pitching duel. The Cardinals and Dodgers always put on a great performance, and it did not fail last night. It was another great performance. Great pitching, great bullpen. And I really enjoyed last night. Last night, I found myself on Tuesday tuning in and out of the game ever so often. But I really was sat there and actually watched the entire game of the NL wild card. And I was very impressed to see how much of a duel, because it was basically who was going to make the mistake and on the defensive side, and who was going to make that bad pitch. Great defensive plays. It came down, from Paul De Jong. If I butcher his name, I apologize. Who entered the game late. Albert Pujols made a appearance as a Dodgers against the Cardinals, knowing that this could be the last season of Yadier Molina and Adam Wainwright. It was very investive. And it came down to the final at bat where Chris Taylor hits a walk-off 2-run home run to get the Dodgers to go over to San Francisco for the NLDS. I mean, and one thing they emphasized this last night's game, there was a 16-game gap difference between the Cardinals and the Dodgers in the wild card spot race. And to be 16 games apart from one another, and both qualifying for a wild card spot, you got to remember the Dodgers were only one game out. They finished the season with 106 games, and they still had to go play 1+1 in a wild card spot. And to be 16 games apart from between the Dodgers and the Cardinals in the postseason, and to have such a great game. It was a pitcher duel. It was 1-1 down to the ninth. Dodgers win 3-1. So if this is what's to come in the upcoming fields here, I'm excited. As we move forward today, the Chicago White Sox will take on the Houston Astros, 4:07 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then the Boston Red Sox and Tampa Bay at 8:07 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is the ALDS that begins today. Beginning tomorrow, we have the NLDS, which is the Atlanta Braves taking on the Milwaukee Brewers, and the Los Angeles Dodgers taking on the San Francisco Giants, one of probably the greatest rivalries in today's history in all of sports. They are the Dodgers and Giants. I'm looking forward to seeing this one. You got to remember, in the divisional series is a 3 out of 5 game series. The first 2 games will be held at the first home game. So for example, the Dodgers and the Giants. Dodgers will be on the road for 2 games starting Friday and Saturday. They'll have Sunday off, and then they will play Monday and Tuesday in LA, or at least Monday, and then if they come to a game 4 on Tuesday, and then they would have Wednesday off to finalize the series if it shall be needed on Thursday back in San Francisco. So, White Sox, Astros today, Red Sox, Rays today. Tomorrow, the White Sox and Astros, Red Sox and Rays will also play. And then tomorrow, the beginning of the NLDS is the Braves and Milwaukee Brewers, and then the Dodgers taking on the Giants. We will keep you posted throughout our talk shows, throughout our segments on everything that's going on, and keep you updated in that category. But it's been four official weeks in the NFL, and this is something new. So the NFL has added 1 extra game to the season, which means, and if you pay attention, usually the first 4 games of the season, all 16 teams play. And it's usually by, I want to say, around Christmas time, where the last 2 to 3 weeks, all 16 teams play. It's going to wind down. Well, now adding that extra game, the first 5 weeks, all 16 teams play. And then they start getting into bye weeks. And I'm looking into that. So we got another week 5 ahead of us. And before we get into the games, we got a couple interesting things to talk about here. Chicago Bears have came out and just announced that Justin Fields, he started the season off as the backup quarterback to Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton did get hurt a little bit, but the Chicago Bears officially named Justin Fields as the starting quarterback for the remainder of the season. And I knew this was going to happen at some point. One thing I appreciate, though, was the ability to at least allow another quarterback like Andy Dalton to come in and kind of help let Fields get his feet wet in the NFL. A couple weeks before you officially start naming him, before he starts taking over that position. And the Bears ain't doing that terrible, but at the same time, he still has work to go. I mean, compared to maybe a person like Trevor Lawrence over in Jacksonville, who can't pick up a victory right now, and he got thrown out there as maybe the star of the franchise. I've said this on a previous segment. I'll reiterate this again. I'm a big fan of the system. And the system for me is no matter what new quarterback or new position player you bring in, I mean, especially quarterback wise, they take a lot of the face of the franchise, in God's honest truth. If doesn't matter what type of quarterback you are, everyone looks at you to move the team forward. And if you even talk to a non-football fan, or a person who doesn't know much about football, they can agree with you that quarterbacks are usually the number one top topics or positions that are always named, obviously. So it's important that when you choose your quarterback, you built them into the system correct. I was never a fan of, and they've been doing this for the last couple of years, where you draft a quarterback at number one in the first round, and then now he becomes your face of your franchise, and you throw him out there to the wolves in the NFL, and he's going to get eaten alive. You may have a good solid start for a couple of weeks, but when we look at guys like Kaepernick, who was decent when he got cleared off the bench because of Alex Smith's injury, Jimmy Garoppolo when Tom Brady got hurt, I mean, he was a bench player. I'm a big fan of the system. And when I say the system is, you're going to have another quarterback come into your franchise because it's time to pass on the torch. Let's say, for example, Brett Favre, right, when towards the end of his career, and it's important. And you had Aaron Rodgers as second string. It's very important that you train your second string quarterback or your upcoming quarterback the way that franchise plays football. They not only get a few weeks to see and have a taste of what the NFL holds, because it is completely different than what the NCAA football provides. But you get yourself an idea. You get your first couple weeks. You get yourself your feet wet. You get banged up a little bit. You understand the difference between playing NCAA football, where they don't always touch you, compared to there's nothing going to protect you if a defensive lineman gets to you. So for me, that's my system. So when Justin Fields got drafted to the Chicago Bears, as much as I wanted to see him get drafted in the higher ups, because I believe that Fields had a better performance than Lawrence back in the semifinals game between Ohio State and Clemson. But we sat here and we had but Lawrence got traded number one. He got thrown in Jacksonville, number one, and look where he's at. He's 0-4. Compared to Fields, where then the Bears signed Andy Dalton, right? Which for me, he's a non-rookie quarterback that could play the system, that can kind of show Fields the ropes. And now you need him more as a team player, performing at a team standard, trying to build these kids up. So Justin Fields is officially the Chicago Bears starting quarterback for the remainder of the season due to him staying healthy. And I'm okay with that. I think it's about time. About a month into it, that's good enough. Let's see what this kid can do, especially in this division that maybe the Packers are going to run away with. Talking about the Packers, how impressive they picked up against the Niners. this past week. They just picked up a former Dallas Cowboy, Jalen Smith. And I feel like this is a huge addition to the Packers moving forward. I think Green Bay, if I'm not mistaken, and let me just check my notes. Green Bay is in Cincinnati this Sunday, and this is one of the games we'll talk about later. But this is a huge pickup. I mean, they picked probably just as big as Richard Sherman being signed to the Buccaneers last week. So hopefully this is a key element for the Packers heading in remainder of the season. I do also want to just bring up, as we pay attention, are the 4-0 to the 0-4 teams. Now they really died down significantly. I mean, we saw a couple of great games last week. The Cardinals being the only undefeated team so far, and I know it's a cliche, superstitious idea here to bring this up only 4 weeks, a month into it, but we didn't really expect or know just how good the Cardinals were going to be heading into the season. Now, I mean, they faced a couple decent challenges in the first month, and as they progress, Arizona's facing San Francisco this weekend, but we knew where they were at last year, how they were coming up into the system, and we talked about. I mean, I'm going to continue to talk about this the rest of the season. But this NFC West is such a dangerous division, and the fact that the Arizona Cardinals are sitting in first place, undefeated so far, is a clear statement to that testimony. It's a little shocking to see the Detroit Lions sitting at 0-4, considering that they picked up Jared Goff. So the question that I was been asking myself is, ever since Jared Goff got picked up by the Rams, they got the team to the Super Bowl that one year. I was really trying to believe in Jared Goff, but this getting a new team, getting a new fresh start, you would think maybe be better for him. But you're really seeing how much of the Rams itself, the entirety of the team, took effect into Goff's performance. Because he's leading the Lions to an 0-4 start. And knowing how well the Bears are starting to play, knowing how well the Packers have been playing, getting to an 0-4 start is really devastating, especially if you're the Lions and football down in Detroit. The other one is Jacksonville. And we talked about, like I said, Trevor Lawrence being this prized possession that Jacksonville has. And exactly, I guess, for me, is how long is too long for you? I'm interested. You thought maybe they picked up one win now. They have a chance, I think, this weekend against Tennessee. Yeah, they have their chance to get Tennessee at home. So how long do you give Lawrence, really, an opportunity before you say, okay, you know what, let's move forward? He's not. I mean, I don't know. I don't say. I mean, for me, it's a little too short, too new to say that he doesn't belong in Jacksonville. I feel like he does. I just don't know if he has the players around him. So, I mean, he's putting up touchdowns, but this is all part of when you don't have that veteran quarterback that is taking that lead and that's guiding you to the next level. This is the type of stuff that franchises have to deal with. And it's maybe not all on Trevor Lawrence, but like I said, he gets brought into Jacksonville. Like I said, I can't help to think that he's that the Jacksonville Jaguars are wanting to make him the face of the franchise. Um, but really, right now with his performance, it's nowhere even close. So it's now time to take a look at our week 5 NFL picks. It's been up and down. I do have everything up to date as of right now. Um, so the first 2 weeks, me and my partner Justin has been um, picking picks. Well, actually, every week we've been picking picks of each and every game and who we think are going to win. We tally up all the win games, and we want to it's a friendly competition. Over back in week 3, our good friend and promoter Trey um has also been participating in this. And if you want to participate yourself, okay, please head on down to uh, the our Facebook page, JJ Talk Show. Follow the page where we post up each and every week's picks or week's games on there, and then we comment down below on the picks and who we believe are going to win. So if you want to join, please don't hesitate and head over to our Facebook page and join with us on Facebook. But as of today, and as of week 4 through week 4, I myself sit at 44 wins on the season. It's been up and it's been down. We're trying to get back on that solid spot. Justin, who's been playing the same amount of time as me, has 35 wins so far this season. So I'm 9 game wins above him. And then Trey, who took a 2 week bye on this and started late, he has 23 wins. So if you would like if you would like to play along with us, please do so. And by doing so, and we will go ahead and post up and keep tallies of where you're at too. Come join with us. So we're gonna head into the picks before that. First of all, I want to just take this moment and thank a couple of our utilities and tools that we've been able to use that wouldn't make this show happen without them. And one of them is StreamYard. StreamYard provides all the studio base and a simplicity of being able to stream and broadcast to you, the viewers. Go to StreamYard.com if you're looking to get yourself into uh, broadcasting. If you're looking to get yourself into audio, whatever, you can record yourself. There's a free application. You could try it. There are other subscriptions that allow you to do more. You could have interviews, guests on, multiple screen usage. If you've been following our channel, it's been on and off. We've been trying new things. I know there's a whole bunch of other studios out there. We tried YouTube Studio. I know there's OBS Studio, but StreamYard, if you're looking to get started out, and it's the great way to go. StreamYard.com if you're looking to start your own broadcasting channel. I also want to give a shout out to Placeit, who has created our logo in the top, right-hand corner up there, depending on how you look at it. Placeit does logos, designs, t-shirts, mugs, anything that you need personalized into your own logo. They'll create intros, outro videos that you've seen on our channel. Go to placeit.com today and get all your stuff made through there and buy. We also like to give a special shout out to Epidemic Sound, who is with licensing all that music that's in the background that you're hearing. Epidemic Sound license all your music to play safely on broadcast channels such as YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and all of the above. So go to epidemicsound.com for more information. There we go. Well, we're in October 7th. I do want to just quickly mention that the month of October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And we highly encourage you, as we start following into the holiday season, that if you could find a location, okay, our way that we go through, okay, this channel is through Susan G. Coleman. And I don't know, and I still haven't checked yet. I will be checking today. But I want to check if Susan, find your own um, uh, breast cancer awareness foundations and support. Donate a few dollars here and there to the research and studies. I want to just say breast cancer, but all cancers. We're in October. Hopefully, Halloween's coming up right around the corner. Then you got Thursday night football, Thanksgiving, Christmas, some fun time. So let's get right into week number 5 here in the NFL. And we kick things off with tonight. I got my partners' picks here. I'll go ahead and review them as I could take you through each and every game. But Thursday night, tonight's football, and it's going to be interesting. Which one are you going to watch? You're going to watch the Seattle Seahawks take on the Los Angeles Rams in another divisional conference game, which is going to be a great game, by the way. I mean, the Rams fell short to Arizona. I get that. Seattle picked up a victory over San Francisco last week. But these two, I mean, just imagine. I know how Seattle plays, especially when they play at home, and how crowded and how noised that stadium gets. My partner picked the Rams. I'm actually going with the Seahawks in tonight's opening matchup for this week. And oh gosh, I got things all mixed up there televised. But no, I'm going for the Seattle Seahawks, and that's because, I mean, the Rams came off of a loss against Arizona at home. And we know how games are played in Seattle. And I don't know how much of this game that they lost against the Cardinals will affect them heading into this week. I think that the Rams have shown struggle in the past, and they started showing it last week. But the struggle of competing against their own divisions. So whenever it comes down to competing against the 49ers, against the Seahawks, against the Cardinals, they don't necessarily perform well. So my partner chose the Rams. I choose Seattle in this game, Thursday night football game right here tonight. Please check that out. Let's see what you can do. You can find that out on the on Fox, Amazon as well. Just searching that up as I go. As we take you into Sunday's football, the New York Jets, who picked up a really big victory last week against the Tennessee Titans, are taking on against the Atlanta Falcons. I'm up in the air with the Atlanta Falcons. They've been in and out and in. Atlanta Falcons only have one victory so far this year. So has the Jets. And my partner picked the Falcons, but I'm going to go with the Jets. Can they make it 2-0 in coming into this season? I would like them to see. I know they'll be on the road. I know it's going to be much harder. I should choose the Falcons. I want to change things up a little bit this week. I'm going to put faith into the Jets that they have what it takes to go on the road in Atlanta and win. Philadelphia's over in Carolina, and Carolina's been performing pretty well, 3-1 to begin the season. Philadelphia's 1-3. With Washington being 2-2 and the Cowboys being 3-1, I don't know how well the Eagles are going to capture the NFC division. This was around the same time a year ago where Dak Prescott got hurt, and it really changed the dynamic of the division here in the East. And as we approach this season, knock on wood here, we don't want history to repeat itself. So, I'm going with Carolina because I just don't find confidence in where the Eagles can walk away with the victory this week. Carolina has been very impressive considering that it's been a different team than it was 5 years ago. So Carolina over Philadelphia. My partner picked Carolina as well. We head into one of the primetime games this weekend, in my eyes, and that's going to be the Green Bay Packers taking on the Cincinnati Bengals. My partner, right off the bat, picked the Cincinnati Bengals to win. And normally I would agree with him. And I see why. I know why he's picking the Bengals to win. I would pick the Bengals too to win. They've been promising. They've been fighting each and every game. But with the addition to Jalen Smith, he should be available this week. But with the addition of Jalen Smith and Aaron Rodgers, after coming out of after coming out of Pittsburgh last week with a big victory, they're on the road. I'm going with Green Bay on this one. Like I said, we're mixing things up. Green Bay Packers for me, Cincinnati for my partner Justin there. New England over in Houston. Can I bypass this game? Houston's 1-3. Here's my thing. I'm gonna go. I'm shooting New England. Bill Belichick had a really good game. It was a Belichick and Brady game last Sunday night. I know it's a team effort, but that's what they used as reference. Belichick and Brady last week, and it was a good game. I think New England goes in with that momentum as last week, and they come in and beat Houston and take victory over the Texans. My partner picked the Houston Texans, by the way. So we'll see on that one. Tennessee over in Jacksonville. Does Trevor Lawrence pick up his first victory of the season? This will be a great game to do so. The division is not necessarily playing so great. It's going to be 2-0. This is going to be that division to look out for this season that it's going to be a struggle just to get to 500. With that being said, though, as much as my partner picked Jacksonville, so he's buying into it. He says, yeah, this is the week that he does it. And I want to say so too, but come on, I need to get above him. I'm going Tennessee on this one. I just don't know. But like I said, I'm not saying it's Trevor Lawrence's fault for the way that they're losing. It's a football team effort. But come on. Tennessee has a little bit better. Tennessee over Jacksonville for me. Detroit over in Minnesota, the other 0-4 team. And I hate to say this. My partner picked Minnesota. Gosh, this is the time of week where I kind of just scratch my head and figure out what the hell am I going to do with myself. This is not a good game at all either. But you know what? I'm going to go faith in Detroit this one. So my partner went faith in Jacksonville, thinking that they could break the 0-4 streak. I got faith in Detroit. I think Jared Goff could pull something together here in Minnesota and pick up a victory. I know. And plus I'm picking them on the road. When do they ever win? When does the Detroit Lions win on the road? Denver and Pittsburgh. That's with how Big Ben's playing in Pittsburgh right now, you would almost think that the fact that Denver and Pittsburgh is kind of like, this is an interesting game to watch because Denver lost their first game last week against Baltimore. They're going into Pittsburgh to face the Steelers. Listen, the Steelers have had two huge losses at home. already. One against the Raiders and one the against the Packers last week. And they're they're 1-3, right? I mean, they lost against. No, I want to add to my favorites. So I'm trying to look at their schedule so far. They lost to the Bengals at home. They lost to the Raiders at home. They go 0-2 at home. They don't finish off 0-2. I think they come into this game, they have a gripe. And if Big Ben and the Steelers lose to the Broncos, that's 3 West Coast teams they lose to in the first 5 weeks of the season. And let's not mention that'll be 4 in a row. You start turning heads in Pittsburgh if you lose 4 in a row, and especially 3 of them being on the West Coast. I mean, it's not going to be an easy game when they have to face Kansas City. Miami and Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay had a great win last week. I think this is going to be a walk through the park. So my partner picked Denver. I'm going Pittsburgh. They lost 3 in a row. One against Division, one against the Packers, which is understandable, and the other one against the Raiders, which they probably shouldn't have lost. I choose Pittsburgh. Miami, I don't think is going to walk away with the victory this week. They are only 1-3. They're taking on against the dangerous Tom Brady. Plus, they're in Tampa Bay. That's going to be an interesting game considering that the ALDS is also going on in Boston at that time also. The New Orleans Saints will be over in Washington to face the Washington football team. The Saints have been up and down so far this year. It's been impressive, but yet again, they go win big games like against Green Bay, and then they lose against New England. Washington, they're about evenly matched up here. I think, my partner picked the Saints, and I'm going to pick the Saints too. I think was one of the teams that this is one of the weeks that they could pick up the victory. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Washington picked up the victory. The Saints and New Orleans and Washington are two teams that kind of look identical when it comes down to the matchup. But I'm picking the Saints on this one. Another game to keep an eye out here as Justin Fields makes his official trust in Chicago. They go over to LA or to Las Vegas, and face those Raiders. My partner picked the Raiders to win, and they've been playing some really good football. The Bears have been playing some decent football as well. Don't want to forget about them. I still think though that Fields, this would be a huge victory if Justin Fields could pick up a victory against the Raiders. And this will be a infinite trust that Justin Fields would get out of Chicago if he could go into Las Vegas and pick up a victory over them. So as my partner picked the Raiders, and I understand how they're home, that would make sense. I'm going for the Bears to win on this game. The Raiders lost to the Chargers. I know they want to come back and win, but I think that the Bears could keep grinding at their chances. They beat Detroit last week. They have a really great momentum coming into this week, week 5. So I'm choosing Bears over the Raiders. The Browns and the Chargers at SoFi Stadium. Chargers picked up a huge win again over against the Raiders. They're going to have another great matchup here because, listen, Chargers are 3-1, and guess what? They're in first place. When was the last time I saw, talking about quickly, just the standing, when was the last time that I saw the Chargers in first place? Well, 5, 6, 7 years ago, maybe? Before Payne and Manny over there in Denver, for sure. But here, check this out. I was just looking at this. The Chiefs are in last place by a game. Chargers and Bengals. Ooh, primetime game. I suppose maybe. Hmm. Trying to think. I'm thinking hard here. My wheels are turning. They got the Chargers on the over under on this one. I think because you're home, Chargers take away with this victory because of their home field advantage. Coming off of a huge victory last week, last Monday night against the Raiders, being home again, they're looking like a solid team. So I'm choosing the Chargers over the Browns. Um, Another primetime game, another implemented game. San Francisco 49ers taking on the undefeated uh, Cardinals. As we approach, right, undefeated. I know it's only 4 weeks into it, and I don't like to toot the horn a little bit. My partner chose Arizona, and as long as and this is at 4 weeks, listen, as long as they're undefeated, I am going to go with the Cardinals as well. So until they lose their first game and I could have something better to evaluate them. Like I said, this is a tough division and every win is crucial for, especially in their own division. So Arizona being back home after picking up a huge victory against the Rams last week, I'm going Cardinals. Giants and Dallas here as well. Oh gosh, I'm so happy that the Giants won. We made this an emphasis last week on the segment on the NFL Week 4 segment, how it was important for how long will it take for the Giants or the Jets to win because they start calling the heads. After, New York is a really big city for sports accomplishments, and if you're not going to achieve, then we're going to call for your heads up type thing. That's the type of scenario that they run themselves into. They finally picked up the victory, and I think it's a really big momentum gaining for them. I think they hopefully should go into Dallas, giving them a fight, but Dallas is going to prevail. I think Dallas is walking away with the division this year, unless someone gets hurt again, which hopefully I don't have to see. We had a Sunday night football where the Buffalo Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs take a crack at each other. And I am the both, here's the thing. My partner picked the Kansas City Chiefs. And I got Monday Night Football on. No, I mean, I got Kansas City Chiefs. They've lost some crucial games already. Some big games. A game against the Chargers, a game against the Ravens early on this season. It's a little, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to underestimate where the Chiefs are headed to. They won the Super Bowl 2 years ago. They went back to the Super Bowl last year. Do they make it a three-peat, or is it time to start looking past that and look for other teams? And especially how well that the Broncos, the Chargers, and the Raiders are playing. Headaches already. That West Coast better watch out. Buffalo Bills looking to make a statement. Listen, the Chiefs they picked up a very important win against the Eagles last week. And this is a very important victory that they need to capture again against Buffalo this time. So me and my partner also selects the Kansas City Chiefs. And then we get right into Monday Night Football this coming up Monday in a impactful non-division rival game here. The Indianapolis Colts and the Baltimore Ravens. So much more for historical purposes than it is an actual intentional rival. My partner picked the Ravens. I'm going with the Ravens as well. The Colts have not shown anything as impressive. We all believe, and I'm calling it, the AFC South is just going to be a nightmare. It's going to be a struggle to get to 5 to 8 wins on the season, 8-9 wins. I don't even see a single team coming out of that division going away with at least no less than 9 wins. So I'm going Baltimore on this one. They're at home, so that's purpose for me to choose the Ravens. So, like I said, those are our picks this week. You can head over to our Facebook page on JJ Talk Show and catch up with all of our picks. We'll post them up here momentarily. Coming up with that, this wraps up here our another segment of the NFL. We thank you for joining us. Please hit that like, share, and subscribe button for more content. You can check us out on YouTube at the JJ Talk Show, Facebook JJ Talk Show, and now on Spotify, where all of our audio content at the JJ Talk Show as well. Don't forget, coming up tonight, ALDS begins. Yankees and Red Sox and Rays, White Sox and Astros. First pitch for both of those. First pitch starts at 4:07 Pacific Eastern Standard Time. You also got the NFL Thursday Night Football between the Seattle Seahawks and the Los Angeles Rams. Also, right now, just while we're talking about this, let's go ahead and I want to give a quick shout to Escape the Undertaker. I have not watched it yet, but that is now on Netflix as well. Go to Netflix and check that out, WWE style. We'll probably hopefully review that by Sunday's episode. Young Sheldon begins tonight. A lot of controversy already going on in the first episode. Come back in and we'll invite you back tomorrow morning where we cover you everything you need to know in the week in the world of sports as we recap highlights, important key games coming up in the NFL Week 5. The AL and NLDS series continued into this weekend. NCAA power rankings. Clemson was out last week. So what do they have to do to get back in the top 25? In the power rankings for NCAA football? NBA's preseason just began this week, so we'll kind of touch base. Not a whole lot of basketball fan here. I want to say I'm not a basketball fan. I just don't necessarily follow a whole lot of games, but we'll see how that changes. You want to leave us a comment, let us know how we're doing, what you like to do and don't like to see on this content. Please let me know. Other than that, listen, you guys have yourself a rest of your remainder week here. Looking forward to see you tomorrow. Get ready for a weekend. Thank you.